Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are pleased to do a little bit of a snippet podcast. That's what I'm going to call it right now, with my co-host and my good friend, business partner. He's the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi. And we're honored to have jump in on this little snippet, so to speak, is Jeff Harper-Harris, head basketball coach at Lincoln High School of the CIF champion Lincoln High School basketball team. So, Charles and Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fire away, Charles.
Well, I think, Drew, what we had chatted about maybe doing in this little mini episode is, again, maybe updating our listeners and the community about what we're doing in the world of education with student podcasting. So first, it's great to have Coach Jeff here, because we're working on a student podcast together down at Lincoln High called Only the Hive. They're going in the studio next week. But Drew, one of the things I wanted to chat about is, our Curiosityships, because it's summertime again. And what we do with our Curiosityships, we don't call them internships. We call them Curiosityships. It's one of my favorite words. And we allow students to come in, explore what they're curious about in terms of storytelling, and create their own little 4-part podcast. And they can explore any topic they want. And so we have three Curiosity Shippers this summer, that are working on 3 different projects. So we're constantly trying to deliver for students in San Diego County, and so pretty excited about this summer's Curiosityships. And Jeff, know that your team, like you mentioned, some of your players want to continue and perhaps work in podcasts in some way, shape, or form. So Curiosityships always available to your players.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So, Drew, that's kind of just a little update.
Yeah, and listen, and this is what, Jeff brings a glow to everything. He's also brought an audience into our studio today. We have our good friends in from Danziger PR, and right above a Disability Therapeutic Writing Center, along with some of the key folks from Ed4 Tech joining us. They'll be on the show a little bit later. And for our audience, Jeff is a championship coach at Lincoln High School basketball, won the CIF championship, and is doing wonderful work for Cloudcast as well. Charles?
Yeah. So Jeff, why don't you curiosity? You talk about that at all when you're coaching your players?
No,
not at all.
Curiosity? No.
That blows up your question. Let me ask you.
It kind of blows up the question.
Yeah, nice job, Charles. Way to stop the conversation over here. But you do talk about commitment, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Well, that starts with the C.
Start to see. We're getting close, Charles.
That starts with a C.
Yeah, that's great on this. And we're talking about all the different things that you're doing, and really the takeaway from that interview we just had with you is all the life skills you're teaching as basketball players that prepare them for life in general. Teamwork, commitment, collaboration, and so forth. Learning how to come back from adversity and all that stuff. That just has paid off. How have you seen your team grow from not necessarily a basketball standpoint, but from an academic standpoint?
Man, well, our overall team GPA this year was 3.43.
Congrats, that's fantastic. That was about 4 times higher than yours, Charles?
Probably 3 times higher.
Yeah, that is very impressive.
Yeah, so it's like I said, education first, play hard second. Yeah, it's same thing with our football program. We compete. We compete on the basketball court to win. We compete in the classroom to win. So some of my seniors just graduating this year, They've been taking college classes already. So some of them are going into college already with 11 units or 9 units already. So
fantastic.
The academic side is a major piece. You know what I'm saying? Without the academics, the athletic part is irrelevant.
Yeah, well, Drew, this is why we built SchoolCAST. As you know, we've been doing it together for a while. It's to power up those real world skills. We call it real world university. When they're working on these podcast programs we power up at schools, they're working on everything from engineering, listening skills, communication skills, research, storyboarding, editing. It's all about skills you can apply the rest of your life, because you have to have great communication skills to have a phenomenal life in this country.
Yeah, without question. Jeff, let me ask you this. We were chatting about your kids, a father of 4, so forth, all successful at different stages in their lives over there. Do you import some of the values that you have with your basketball team with your family at all? To have them work as a team, have them collaborate, have them think about different types of scenarios. Do you do the same as a father?
You know what? I do. I think it's more so I get what I got from my dad. Somebody asked me this a couple of days ago, my why do I do it? Why do I coach? Why do I decide to help other people's kids? And the main reason is because my dad adopted me. You know what I mean? So my dad took on somebody else's responsibility. And sometimes in this business that I am in coaching, I do take a lot away from my family, from my kids. My daughters will tell you in a minute, hey, he spent more time with everybody else's kids than his own. And that's the thing that I hope as they get older, they figured it out. And as they got older, they did. My youngest right now is around me more now because he plays basketball, so he wants to be around me. My 20-year-old, he was playing around me. He's in college too. But, it's just that, the things my dad taught me as he was a father, I try to implement that in my daily life. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is as a father. Sometimes you win, fail. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it wrong. I've been getting it wrong for a while. So
now it's time to get it. Well, I'm sure you've been getting it right for a long time too, Charles. I'm not sure if you even know this. I was adopted at birth myself, as was my my brother on this, and luckiest guy in the history of the world. The family I wound up raising me since age 0, and so forth. And I'm not sure if that means us adopted folks have some kinship together at all on that, but we're very appreciative of the families that we certainly have raised us and so forth. And Charles, we talk about this quite a bit. In fact, I was having this conversation with someone recently. They wanted to know about a little your background. I said, Charles had a tough background and grew up in the projects in New York, but listen, he sat there and wanted to become an entrepreneur as you were from 25, and that's why you work with groups like Jeff's at Lincoln.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. But to me, it's foundational. It's obviously Jeff and I have collaborated on a few projects here in San Diego, but certainly for the DNA of our company and Cloudcast is you look at where we do the work and you see what we care about. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think it's good. It's shown that you started this in I always get the year wrong. What year did you start this?
Next year is our 4-year anniversary for Cloudcast.
One of these days I'll remember.
Next month, I should say, July.
Yeah, that's right. Well, one of these days I'll remember. Not as smart as you, Jeff, for God's sake. Went to Palisades High. Are you kidding me? But 4 years started at just some of the shows I brought over from the Union Tribune, and now 50 now?
We've now... we're recording your show next week, so that'll be our 54th show in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So, and obviously Drew does 192 episodes a year, and it's so nice to be here at the Mission Fed Studio, the sponsor of Spotlight in the Community, and it's just growing. But the school component, what we're focusing on with Podjucation and SchoolCAST and Curiosityships, that's the DNA of the company is lifting students as much as possible, giving every single opportunity to students in San Diego County to work on our shows. Even some of the middle schools and high schools we work with in San Diego now, we hire actually some of their students and work on other elements of our shows. And we've got several student associate producers from here because Cloudcast is launched in Atlanta now. Jeff, I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, congrats.
So we have some students that are working for us from Spelman and Morehouse back in Atlanta. So it's growing.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Jeff, thanks for joining us. I know you'll be coming back in the studio with some of your players to chat about what they have learned in this championship season, and want to wish you all the great success as you launch your Only at the Hive podcast. It'll be next Tuesday. When will that be released to the public, Charles?
We think 2 weeks after the recording date, and because Sharon asked me that, Sharon Powell, because it's nice to have, I mentioned Norman Powell, Los Angeles Clippers, Understand the Grind Foundation, involved with Only at the Hive, the new podcast coming from Lincoln High, and Coach Jeff Harper-Harris and his players.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Jeff, any final comments?
No, I appreciate y'all having me in, and thanks for looking out for the little guys in Southeast San Diego, Lincoln High School.
Yeah, well, they're the big guys as far as I'm concerned on that. Thank you for all the great work you have done, Charles. Always a pleasure having you as co-host as we've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year in the beautiful Mission Fed studio, Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing to do spectacular work for San Diego for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the program.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.